Welcome to my channel. It's time for a scary story about a haunted car. It was an old beat-up Ford Escort, a 1986 model, the very first year they made it, and there were only two of them. The other one was in a museum somewhere in Europe. This car had been sitting in a garage for years, until a man named Andy decided he wanted to fix it up. He brought it home, got it running, and decided to drive it for the first time in over a decade. As soon as he turned the key in the ignition, the car sputtered to life like something possessed. Andy shrugged it off and hit the road for the first time. That's when he noticed that the car seemed to be driving itself. The steering wheel turned on its own accord, guiding him down the road. He tried to regain control, but it was too late. The car crashed into a ditch on the side of the road and flipped over. Andy survived the crash, but he was seriously injured and rushed to the hospital. He spent several months recovering from his injuries, both physical and psychological. But once he was released, he went back to the car, which was now nothing more than a pile of twisted metal. He pulled a piece of the dashboard out of the wreckage and put it in his pocket. Then he drove away in a different car. He never looked back. Well, or so we thought. One day, a new couple moved into the house next door and they had a strange car in their driveway, a 1986 Ford Escort. They hadn't seen our story yet, but they were already creeped out by their new car. One night, they heard strange noises coming from the car. At first, they thought it was just mice. But then the sounds started to get louder and more aggressive. Sometimes they sounded like screams in the middle of the night. They were terrified to go outside and investigate. So instead, they called animal control to come and take care of it. When the officers arrived, they found that the noise was coming from inside the car. They opened the door and found a woman sitting in the passenger seat. She had long, greasy hair and was wearing a dress from the 1980s. The officers were stunned, but they quickly recovered and arrested her for trespassing. At the station, the woman told them her name was Mary and that she needed help. She said she'd been trapped in the car for over 30 years and was finally free. The officers didn't believe her, but they let her go after she calmed down. The next day, the couple found Mary sitting in their driveway crying. She told them that the police had taken her to a hospital and that she needed somewhere to stay. They felt sorry for her, so they invited her in for a hot shower and some food. While she was getting ready, they found a piece of the dashboard in the pocket of her dress. They didn't think much of it at the time, but later they saw in the news that a car had been found abandoned in a ditch. The news also showed a picture of the dashboard, which matched the one that Mary had been wearing. They confronted Mary, but she denied knowing anything about it. She said she found the piece of the dashboard on the side of the road and just kept it as a souvenir. But they didn't believe her. They knew that she was hiding something, but they couldn't figure out what. One night they heard the same screams coming from the car. Again, they were terrified, but this time they had a gun. When they opened the door, Mary was gone, but they found a note in her hand. It read, "I'm sorry, but I have to go. The car needs me." They were stunned. They knew they had made a terrible mistake by letting Mary into their home. They should have known better than to trust a hitchhiker, especially one who was wearing a dress from the 80s and carrying a piece of a vintage car dashboard. If you enjoyed this haunted car story, stay tuned for more terrifying tales. Remember to smash that like button, comment below, and share with your friends. See you next time!